linked up to Tori, and she recommended me to speak with you. And yeah, I was wondering if
Tori's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
That's a great one to know.
Yeah, obviously, you know what? I was like looking at your like videos and stuff, and I like never clocked that like really famous skateboarding videos is like you, and like it's just like an honor to speak with you.
No, I don't know about that. It's just like I've been doing it too long, more than anything. But yeah, it's like I kind of started when there weren't really many girls around, I guess. Yeah, and then 2018, I feel like was the year of equality, and everyone was panicking. So all the brands were like, "Oh, we need girls on the team." So I mean, I was already lucky, like fortunate enough to have some sponsors, but it was like honestly the last few years, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think where it became a bit more of a thing. But yeah, luckily I'm still just about able to skate these days. But yeah, I've been doing it too long, so that's why I'm.
No, that's great. That is great. Because I low-key did stop 2 years ago because I got like a knee injury, and then like I'm struggling to get back into it now, and I'm just like, you just need to do it. But now it's kind of like, hitting the floor.
No. Yeah, it's honestly like I've got knee injuries in both, and I'm just sort of coming back a little bit to like maybe never what it was, but like as close as I think it can get to. And it's just exhausting. And also now I'm also like, I just don't really want to fall over again.
No, yeah.
But then you kind of do it, I guess, here and then. You remind yourself, like, it's kind of pretty fun sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
No, I feel that. Just like out of curiosity, how did you start skateboarding?
I started. Well, I had a board at home, but I think I got like first time I got like some pocket money from Pound Stretcher or something. And then I kind of was always doing something active, sort of out and about. And I just moved secondary schools, and there was a bunch of boys outside of skateboarding, and I kind of saw them actually do something with their boards rather than just pushing around like do an ollie or like kick flip. And I was like, oh, that's cool, I've got one of those. And they said, yeah, come join us. And then I think that was kind of it. I was pretty much hooked from then on. And just spent sort of obsessively way too much time outside. And my mum and dad's on the street just trying to flip my board or go off the curb. That was it.
Yeah, because I mean, I started skateboarding in Suffolk, and there's a bit of a less of a scene down here, and so it's quite nice to hear that like you felt supported during that time that you were skateboarding.
No, definitely, and it was also just like didn't really register that there was like it was boys that were doing it. I kind of was just like, oh, this is really fun, and like I just want to do it. So they were really supportive. It was like I think it was just like now that I kind of reflect on it, and also when like I see other sort of kids or going up to anyone starting skating, I'm just like there's an immediate bond because you're just like you know how difficult it is, but also how much you really want to do it. So it's like there's that really nice community aspect about it. But I don't know what it's like. I'm sure there's a couple of skate parks knocking about in Suffolk these days, but I can imagine it's kind of similar to how I don't know, what it was like when I started in London, which was, despite it being the big capital, there was no skate parks.
Yeah.
Or if they were crap. Like, they're really bad. So I just sort of skate the street, and it's quite hard to sometimes find your crew with that.
Yeah, no, but to be honest, I really do like love skating and just like the street in general. I feel like that in itself is something that's just like so beautiful and calming. But to me, skate parks have always been more of a male dominated place, which like I personally did kind of struggle with because most of the time the only girls that would be there with their partners. Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, that was kind of like, I hate to say it, but we used to joke that the girls that were just there were like their partners, like not really skating. We used to call them ramp tramps. It was so bad, but it was quite funny because it was just like, I see it sometimes, but like, and then some of my girlfriends at school would just want to hang out with me, I think, because they wanted to hang out with boys.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, and I was just skating. I was just like, I don't really.
I mean,
I don't know.
yeah.
Confusing times.
I know.
But it is really funny.
It's so crazy to me because I was like, you can literally, like, you're literally here. Just, like, pick up a board. Like,
yeah, have a go. Like, it's so true. I think the other thing is sometimes it's like, it comes across as very, I mean, not sometimes, I think the majority of the time it does come across as, like, really intimidating. Because it is, like, you do see a lot of failure before you see, like, tricks. Like, I sometimes feel bad, like, people watching just being like, they're not really seeing anything fun. They're just seeing people fall over. almost do it, but so it's like, I never thought it was like the most inviting thing to maybe take part in, and like especially if like you're concentrating, I feel like, because you have to try and learn stuff. It can be like, it seems like sometimes I remember like guys at skate parks when I did sort of start to go to a few, or they kind of started, they just seemed very like, I don't know, almost like too cool for school. They won't say anything. Now they've got like headphones in and just like look really serious. But like as soon as you show you're trying, and like they're actually just like really nice. But
yeah.
It doesn't come across that way. So I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Would you kind of say like there's obviously a subculture aspect of skateboarding and skateboarding culture a little bit, and do you think that kind of translates to us kind of now trying to make inclusive spaces for women trying skateboarding? Do you think that mirrors the subculture, or do you think it's more just like as a hobby, if you get what I mean?
I think it's always been I think it's just always been like sort of ingrained, like it's always been a sort of subculture. I mean, obviously you can do it competitively now, so that can put it in the category as a sport, and it's obviously physical, so it lends itself to that. But like, I think for me, I've always like, there's always been the overlap with the community aspect of it, like the fashion, the music, like there's so many variables, I guess. You know, like what you choose to wear, what kind of board size or shape or brands you're into, or who your favorite skaters are, what they skate, what music you guys do listen to, or whatever at the same time. And I think, like, also skating itself, like, especially if you're not at a skate park, it's like very much an individual thing, but you can also do it with others. So you're using like your own ability and your own skills and your own creativity. And I think like that's like sort of skateboarding for me in general. But then you've got like subcultures within the subculture. So you've got like, because I remember meeting the first girl skater, like I think it was like a year and a bit after I'd been skating, and I just remember being like, oh, this is a whole other vibe. Like it's the same, but it's not. And I remember having just like a different connection because of being female and finding that scene. And I think that's really special too. And I think it's the same with like the queer communities and like those from just different like racial backgrounds as well. And like I think it's like there's so many different things you can bond over. Yeah. But like the sort of like the thing that connects everyone is the skateboarding aspect, which I think is really nice.
Do you know what?
So I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Now that you say that, it's so funny because I was at the skate park the other day, and now that you're mentioning all the communities, I can literally go back into my memory and see each one in like the section that they were standing in the skate park, and just found that so funny. It was like Mile End Skate Park, and yeah.
Oh yeah, Myland. Yeah, that's got like it's like so much fun. But he's that whole like long ledge where everyone just sits on the side.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's like in their groups.
Yep,
It's
that
so
one.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
No,
And
but
I think Myland as well is like an area is really interesting for the skateboarding community. I think the skate parks are always in like an interesting zone because it's like where do you put them? And they're usually on the outskirts or somewhere really strange where they kind of try and push it to the side. So I think that also invites characters.
definitely, yeah. Oh, that was quite fun. That was quite funny. It did also have the girls with their partners, but the queer community was like, "Oh, you should." It was run by a man, but he was like, "Oh, you should come to this women's skate like club that I have," and like, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Thanks for being an ally, I guess. Yeah.
Ally, yeah.
Really fun.
Yeah. So you were talking about like style and music and all of that. Do you think because you're sponsored by Vans, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you think that kind of like Vans kind of influences your style, or is it more with music and just like your whole persona in general?
That's a very good question. I think, I think it was after skating for like a couple of years, I met this sort of other girl skater, and she then got me hooked up with getting some Vans. And before I had Vans, I would literally just skate any skate shoe that I think my first pair of shoes were Vans, weirdly, but like, I would skate like my cousin's hand-me-down skate shoes, or like any ones I got from TK Maxx that were chunky and would just last, basically, because you just ruin them. So like, in the beginning, for me, it was very much a practicality. Like, I didn't really look too much into it. But then also, like, it was like the feel of them. And then I guess through obviously being given Vans shoes to wear, it's kind of, I think over time they've definitely got more styles, so you can like still express yourself in like various ways, even if you. But I do think that the Vans as a brand has always kind of had ties with like music, and like it is a skateboarding brand, like a skate shoe brand at its core. So like you've got people that wear Nike or ride for them or Adidas and things like that, but like they're not a skateboarding brand. They have their own skateboarding avenue, like their own, like Nike SB, Nike skateboarding, and Adidas has got like its own skateboarding side, but they're like not reliant on skateboarding as a brand, whereas like Vans is like very much reliant on skateboarding, BMX, surfing, and like snowboarding. So very much just sort of pigeonholed in that category. But like it has overlaps obviously with like streetwear and people like wearing it, especially now you can like buy them in like JD Sports and stuff. So like it's definitely changed over time, and I feel like wearing Vans isn't now specifically attached to being skateboarding only, just because I know so many people that wear them and they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
But like I think maybe I did go through a phase of wearing like other shoes when I wasn't sponsored, and I was like wearing Nike shoes and things like that. But I think the way that I would, regardless of what shoe I was wearing, I think the way I'd wear it would be like, maybe like, what's the word I'm looking for? It would still sort of fit in with the rest of my outfit. Like it would blend in the same way. I don't know if like the brands necessarily like would define like everything else about what I'd be wearing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, in a sense, I feel like your style mostly comes from just who you are and the type of, like, obviously you're a skateboarder and the music that you probably listen to.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. But I'd say, like, some people definitely, like, take brands more on board with that kind of thing. So, like, I know some people that, like, would only ever really wear Vans because of, like, its association with it being just, like, a skateboarding brand, if that makes sense. And also, like, the music side of it. So they've got quite, like, a punk side to that, like wearing Vans, like I guess kind of skate related, like what people might think is skate related music. But then you've also got like there's that in general from the outlook, but I feel like if you ever played Tony Hawk's PlayStation game, the soundtrack to that was like such a mix of like hip hop, rap, like punk, metal. Maybe there's a bit of soul in there too, I don't know. So it's like some people maybe would be more inclined to wear like certain brands because of the connection they think it has to their music taste too. But for me, I feel like, well, I'm obliged to wear them. But also, I think the way that I wear them or the styles that I find comfortable and choose to wear would be the same as if I was to wear Adidas or another brand, for example.
What else? Do you think like your kind of relationship with skateboarding has changed or grown after you've like kind of gone into it professionally?
Yeah, I'd say 100% it's changed, because I think basically I was always working a million different jobs trying to find out what I wanted to do, and then when I wasn't doing that, it was like I was spending my time skateboarding.
Yeah.
And then now that balance has changed to where it's like, oh, this is what I do more skateboarding than I do, like, I guess what you call work, jobs.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy, but like feels more like a job than skateboarding does. And it is kind of like I'm doing a lot more of what I always wanted to do as well. Like I always wanted to like be part of like trips and making videos and things, and like that was always quite difficult because it's like, who do you know who's got a camera, or who wants to make a video? Like it takes a lot for like someone to want to do that as a project, whereas like when now I'm doing it as a profession, that's very much what it was like required of me, and that's what I really like to do. So it is kind of just like elevated everything I've wanted to do. I'm very grateful I get to do it, basically. Because yeah, I'd be spending my spare time doing it otherwise, or trying.
Do you know what? I will say that I was like low key just before this call, I kind of did stalk your LinkedIn, and I was like, God, she's done a lot of jobs. I was like, wow, yeah. Like,
it's so funny that LinkedIn still exists. I haven't changed it in a million years, but those jobs also haven't changed.
No, it's the first thing that pops up when you like mention your name online as your LinkedIn. I'm like, wow, she was a chef.
Funny. Yeah, I had like honestly a million different jobs, and I think a lot, like it is weird because like I have friends that aren't professional skateboarders, but like they like, you know, they skate obviously, and I'll see them at the skate park on like midweek on like a Wednesday afternoon, and it is just, and like you are just like, what are we doing? Like, do any of us have a real job? And like I think it's just like everyone seems to, a good majority of my friends that I skate with, they have the same sort of like a million different things going on. But like, I think it's probably just maybe some people have like seen a certain way of life which is like slightly unstable, but like you could say, or like there's not much security in it, but also maybe just like slightly adventurous, so like want to try different things or kind of find what is they enjoy doing. If it's not skating that's going to provide them with like a way to pay bills, like it's there's going to be something else. And I think that takes a lot of searching, or like a lot of like trying and failing of different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but I do actually know people with full-time jobs that skate, but like we're not all just like running around and like midday
freelancers. But that's like, I feel like most people, a lot of people that skateboard are probably more creative people in general that I can like see and I feel when I'm around skateboarders, is that because it's very much tied into graffiti culture, isn't it, as well, and illustration.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's very much basically, I think particularly now, I mean, particularly when I started, when there weren't many skate parks or, like, sort of facilities that were, like, dedicated for skating, or if they were just, like, crap. It really, like, it kind of really forced you to, like, be... I'm not saying people aren't as creative now, because it's really not true, because I think skateboarding is so oversaturated and so popular. It is, like, how do you make a statement, or how do you still do you without being influenced by everything you're seeing online and all the videos and everything? But, like, I do remember thinking when I started, like, oh, well, I'm going to have to make space for my skating somewhere or find it. And that really took a lot of, like a different... It really, like, taps into a different way of using your brain and thinking about space and how you can, like, adapt it to what you want to do. Whereas, like, I think it's very easy not to do that with lots of other things, because you just sort of see the same thing or you go the same way. But skate parks are, like, a contained place for it, but then you still have, like, the choice of what you want to do at the skate park, like what tricks you want to try, or what line you want to do. So it's still it's still very creative.
Yeah.
But you're working within boundaries of, like, what you can and can't do and what you want to try and learn. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, something I really wanted to ask you is that you mentioned, like, right now about finding your space. Is it something that you kind of like, that you often get grouped with, like, labeled as a woman in skateboarding, or would you just prefer if people just said that you were just a skateboarder, because that's just what you are as well?
Yeah, I think that's another really good question. I think it's changed. My opinion on it has changed over time. So, like, in the beginning, I just kind of, like, you draw a lot of attention to yourself skateboarding anyway. Like, it's just because it's quite, especially if you're street skating. I know, even if you're not, it's just very loud and it's annoying, and, like, you're falling over, and that's not, like, a normal thing that people do every day. So, it's like, I kind of just wanted to blend in. I just wanted to be a skateboarder. So that is also reflected in, like, to this day, like, what I choose to wear when I skate and things. Because, like, I do feel like a lot of the time skaters all look the same.
They do, yeah.
They all look the same. Like, there's, like, tiny, like, differences here and there, but we all kind of, like, merge. But, like, then as I got older now, I wouldn't have a career in skateboarding if it wasn't for the fact that I was female, because it is so, and always has been, so male dominated. The competition is for, I don't know, having a career or getting sponsored or getting supported is so way more competitive. So I'm also, like, but also it's like, I realized that people maybe, or, like, women wanted to, like, start skating but didn't have either, like, someone to, like, people to look to for, like, wanting to try and show that you can do it, like, regardless of your gender. And so I'm kind of, like, I also, when I discovered a little female skate crew or, like, community, it was, like, quite special, because there is that difference. There is always going to be some sort of difference, like, with the way you think, or the way your body shape is, and the way you react to stuff and society and things, and that was really special to find that connection on another level. So I'm really, like, I really love being a female skater, and also, like, showing that you can be amongst anyone and everyone, and it's, like, still just as special. It's really cool, I guess.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, just out of curiosity, where did you find your little female crew?
Well, actually, it was, so I bumped into a female skater, like, a year and a bit after I started skating at a skate park near Ladbroke Grove. And then we exchanged phone numbers after we played a game of skate, like, sussing out that we both actually skate. And then we weren't just ramp tramps. And then she told me about this girls' skate jam event that happened in St Albans like once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went to that, and then there was about 20 to 30 max girls in one room, like one skate park, and that at the time was the entirety of the UK girl skate scene. So it was like,
Wow.
I kind of just met people through that, and then I guess there was just like a handful that I would just see more often at these girl skate events, or we just became really good friends and just sort of stay at each other's houses and go on little silly missions together. And now everyone's still kind of skating, but I don't know, like here, there, everywhere, but we still see each other and it's still the same, which is really nice.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me. I feel like I've held you too long.
Oh my god, no, don't worry at all. I honestly can ramble for ages, so I've probably taken too much of your time. Anyway.
No. I am, like, for real. Like, I'm just in my bedroom right now. Just like, so it's chill.
Amazing. But it was Central St. Martin's, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny. My mum works as like a student support, like there. It's just like for like those are like dyslexic or.
Oh my god, really? Oh, maybe then I've spoken to your mum then.
I don't know if you've seen she's like pretty small. She's got glasses and short hair, and like dark hair, and she's called. She just goes by like Stella Long or Stella Klein. I don't know what her name is for. I don't know what last name she uses. If she uses her maiden name or not. But if you happen to see a small little lady hovering around, sort of not, probably quite spaced out, that would be my mum.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Because I do talk to the dyslexia and ADHD team quite often, because I'm like always down there trying to get an extension.
I love that. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. Yeah. So
anyway,
yeah. Did you go to university?
I did. Yeah, I went to Norwich University of the Arts.
Yeah.
And did.
Big up this area.
Illustration. Yeah. It was
illustration.
Really fun.
Oh, do you still do illustration then, or have you?
Not really. Again, it was like something that I really enjoyed. I learned a lot. I did like work as a printmaker briefly because I got quite into printmaking, and then did bits. But then it was so competitive. It's just so it was so competitive. I didn't like give up necessarily, but maybe I didn't have as much drive to try and pursue it, sort of like career wise.
Yeah.
And also like talent wise, I was just surrounded by some friends that were just like insane. So I was like, if I could do it like that, then maybe. But I do it for fun now. Mostly, I guess, or like little projects here and there.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like now that I'm graduating, I'm like realizing how talented everybody is and how many people there are doing like creative stuff. So I'm like, I now have to find like a niche.
Yeah, but you know what? There's always room for one more. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's why I got lucky with the skateboarding. It was like being a female as well. It was a niche.
Yeah.
So, but I never thought of it as a job, or there was an opportunity for that either. So you never know. Honestly.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe hopefully, like with this project, hopefully it can turn into something a bit bigger, and that can like help me with going into something. Yeah.
Definitely.
Defo. Anyways, I should probably let you go. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and
good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Let's keep in touch.
Sure.
Bye.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
All right.